welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to look at the latest from the live radar, run through the weather warnings as we do have various snow and ice warnings over the course of the next couple of days as we have cold air wrapping round back in behind this low pressure system. While this low pressure system is still here though, we do have a wind warning that has been issued earlier today. That does expire later this evening, so we'll have a look at that as well. That's for southern areas where we can see some quite blustery winds around. We'll have a look at the data in detail on the UKV, look at the temperature and the precipitation over the course of the next 5 days. And of course we'll run through the longer range, looking at the GFS, GM, ECMWF and the ensembles and the looks of the models today. If you're looking for something a bit drier and a bit warmer, not looking particularly good. It's looking to be continually unsettled. Doesn't look stormy or anything like that, just low pressure nearby us a lot of the time, but it also looks pretty cold. There are some signs, especially from the ensemble members, of perhaps another cooler or colder spell around the 20th of March, so in around a week's or so time starting to develop. So continual spells of generally average to below average temperatures are looking likely over the coming weeks. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So if we do start on the live radar, you can see the big low pressure system that has moved through overnight, with the big weather front now out across parts of Scandinavia and Europe. However, we are left with the northern extent of that weather front over Scotland, and you can see the cold air is starting to move back in, with it turning to snow here over the higher ground. It will turn more widely to snow over the course of this afternoon and the evening as more winteriness does develop, as that cold air does move back in. Further southwards, we've just got the blustery showers associated with the centre of the low. Some very heavy rain across parts of the Midlands and Wales at the moment. Again, it's on and off, very blustery, and these areas of precipitation are moving through very quickly. We can see how they're sort of developing into lines, and that's along the isobars in the direction the wind is coming from. So it's a flat westerly at the moment, but northerly winds will be coming back later this evening into tomorrow. Now you can see further southwards that it is a bit drier, but still quite cloudy, very gusty out there, and there are still a few showers. And these showers will increase over the course of the evening as the low starts to track southwards, bringing all this instability further southwards. So as I'm recording this, not too much precipitation in the south and the east at this stage, but do expect by the time this video does come out, later this afternoon into the evening, we will start to see more widespread precipitation further southwards. Now, if you put on the temperatures around 11 a.m. in the morning, it is very mild out there. Good 13 to 15 degrees quite widely through England, Wales, the Republic of Ireland, parts of Northern Ireland, and southern Scotland. But you can see where that cold air divide is around Glasgow, Stirling, Edinburgh. Southwards is mild. Northwards, it is a lot colder. Again, most of these areas, the low-lying, still well above freezing, around 4 or 5 degrees, so not cold enough for snow, but over the higher ground, definitely cold enough for snow. And that area of lighter blue will be increasing rapidly over the next 12 to 24 hours as all this cold air spreads southwards, and all areas through tomorrow could have wintry showers as that cold air does return. So if you have a look at the weather warnings, you can see we've got the various snow and ice warnings. We also have this wind warning issued for southern and eastern areas and parts of the Midlands as well. Issued earlier this morning, and it's from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. this evening. Strong and gusty southwesterly winds may lead to some disruption, particularly for prone high-sided vehicles. Again, 50 to 55 miles per hour, perhaps reaching 60 to 65 over some exposed coasts and hills. Highest gusts are expected between mid-morning and mid-afternoon. High likelihood, lower end of the impact matrix. Again, only put in this morning, so the likelihood has increased overnight last night. If we do have a look at the other snow and ice warnings, we've got this snow and ice warning that is for the snow we've got at the moment. Again, hasn't changed since yesterday, so do check out yesterday's video if you're interested in the details for this. But 5 a.m. until 11 a.m. tomorrow for that frontal snowfall with that cold air undercutting it. Then we've got this widespread snow and ice warning for the coastal areas of Northern Ireland, Scotland, as we do have heavy snow showers moving in, again not updated since yesterday, from 5 p.m. this evening until 11 a.m. tomorrow. And then we have this more widespread snow warning for northern parts of Wales, stretching to the Midlands, Northern England and Scotland. Again, mainly over the higher ground, but of course we'll have a look at the UKV in a minute. Again, not updated from yesterday, but rain, sleet and snow likely, followed by ice likely to cause some impacts to travel as that weather front slides southwards, could turn to snow over the higher ground. So if you do look at the UKV and have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the course of the next 5 days, now you can see it doesn't look like there's going to be any snow at all really at this stage, with all these heavy blustery showers moving in. As I said, that instability will shift southwards, those showers will return further south and eastwards, and as that cold air wraps back in, you can see the weather front turns to snow on its back edge over higher routes of northern England, the Rhondda Farn, Northern Ireland and Wales. Over the course into the morning, heavy snow showers elsewhere in the north, and that becomes more widespread through the afternoon. We can see an area of more widespread precipitation moving there along that north to northwesterly wind through the evening. Again, could be snow to even low-lying areas there, for eventually the isobars do spread out. Still snow showers in the north, could be a little covering here or there, but nothing too crazy. The biggest thing there will be an overnight frost as we've got clear skies and a very cold air mass. Beyond that, as we head through Wednesday, a weather front approaches, turns to snow on its leading edge over the higher ground, but generally just sweeps in milder air for all areas, and we're back into milder conditions. But as I said, around the 20th, we could go colder once again. Have a look at the latest ensembles. So very unsettled perhaps to end the week and start the weekend with a lot of these blustery heavy showers around, but it is looking likely that perhaps we could go colder once again. So it does look unsettled is going to be the main theme, but those temperatures are going to be really up and down. They're quite mild at the moment. We'll be turning colder through the middle part of this week. We'll end the week a lot milder, and then to the start of next week, to the middle of next week, could turn colder once again. So if you do have a look at the 2 meter temperatures, just have a look at what those temperatures are doing. You can see over the course of this afternoon, 14 or 15 degrees in the south, around freezing across Scotland as that cold air does sink southwards. Overnight tonight, widely into tomorrow morning, a frost in northern areas and western areas. Far southeast, still got a bit of cloud and milder air, so still holding on to those milder conditions. Into Tuesday afternoon, look at that, widely not getting much above 7 or 8 degrees in the far south. Again, it's going to take a good few days to get colder conditions than that, but it is going to feel a lot colder out there. Further northwards, very cold, getting down towards the low single digits, if not below freezing over the higher routes. Through this evening, all areas will drop cold, perhaps down to a frost. Pretty much all areas will see frost, very, very cold in some central areas, around -3, -4, -5 or -6 degrees below freezing. Very, very chilly. And then into Wednesday, another cold day, widely 5 to 8 degrees, if not colder, in northern areas, before eventually that milder air does sweep in, and all areas will be going much milder. For Thursday, look at that, 10 to 12 degrees, maybe 13 or 14 somewhere, and that continues into Friday, where temperatures hardly drop below 8 or 9 degrees overnight. So back into the very mild air. And you see by Friday, perhaps somewhere in the southeast, could see 15 or 16 degrees. That's getting towards a little bit warm if you start to see a bit of sunshine developing with that, but I do think it's very much going to be cloudy and rainy out there for the time being. So if you do now have a look at the Longrange, see what that is showing over the course of the next couple of weeks. So if you look at the GFS, you see that southwesterly wind at the moment, but you can see all the cold air to our north poised to move in. Now that does move in over the next sort of 12 hours or so, bitterly cold for about 24 to 36 hours, before eventually does get swept away by more southwesterly winds. So here it goes, milder, but look to our north, still pockets of higher pressure, still producing areas of cold that could move into northern Europe. And as we head towards the 20th, we do see the potential for some cold air pushing in here. I did say we have to look at the ensembles because operational run's not always going for it. Still a lot of uncertainty. So this latest GFS doesn't pull in anything too cold, keeps us very unsettled though. But as I said, when we look at the ensembles, you can see that most of them do produce something a little bit colder in that period. And then right out to 300 hours, it does go westerly. Again, this is the latest 6 o'clock run, so it hasn't fully come out yet, unfortunately. But you can see the general theme is generally cool, but very unsettled. No signs of anything dry or very warm at all. Any milder areas of air will be associated with a low pressure system, so it will be unsettled and feel pretty cool out there under rain and cloud and wind. So yeah, not looking great if you're looking for something a bit warmer and drier. If we do have a look at the GMs, yeah, that does compare. Again, northerly wind pushing in, more of a southwesterly to end the week, and then eventually into next week. As I said, GM does have that colder pattern with high pressure towards ice and just a mid-Atlantic ridge and cold northerly winds for a few days. And with high pressure toppling back in, it'll be a slow warm-up, probably with a lot of frosts. And even at day 10, pocket of high pressure towards Iceland and Greenland and very cold out towards Scandinavia. Wouldn't be surprised if we did tap into some of this. Again, just still lingering signs of that sudden stratospheric warming with blocking looking likely in the northern hemisphere. Again, you can have a look at the air masses. -5 line moves in, and you see the -10 line is poised to sweep in here at day 10. Again, uncertain how quickly that does move in. It does go milder temporarily in the south, but you would expect some of this cold air to drift back in. Now, after you finish by looking at the ECMWF, again, northerly winds coming in, southwesterly flow over the coming days, and then eventually, as we head beyond that, we see that colder northerly flow, not quite as a distinct block up towards Greenland, so perhaps not lasting particularly long, but if you look at day 10, you can see cold air is sweeping in, and if that ridge got a little bit stronger, we could even get that -10 line in for Scotland. Again, turning it very cold and probably wintry in Scotland, but of course, getting towards the latter parts of March, it's highly unlikely we see anything widely cold, especially to low-lying areas, even in Scotland in the north, where generally anything below -5 at 850 HP and the winter can produce snow. It's looking quite unlikely we see anything widespread at all, but still wintry showers, quite a cold wind chill out there, and of course ice and frost will still remain hazards as long as we have these cold air masses coming our way. After you finish by looking at the ensembles, you'll see how they are very supportive of something a little bit colder towards the middle part, around the 20 to the sort of the 25th. You can see this very cold plunge the next few days, only lasting about 36 to 48 hours, but regardless, it is very cold, down to sort of -7, -8 in London, even colder further northwards. Then it responds up to 4 to 5 degrees, so big temperature contrast there, before generally trending a little bit cooler. And then around the 20th, we dip slightly below average for the majority, and then we have a period of maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 days max between the 20th and the 25th, where we do have generally quite cold ensemble members. Nothing ridiculously cold, but generally a good 5+ degrees below average. Of course, the operational run here, this was the midnight run, didn't really follow along with it, so of course not every run going for it, but there is definitely a trend appearing here, and there are still quite a considerable number of cool or cold runs in the longer term, just showing the continual possibility of keeping us pretty cold over the course of the next few weeks. And of course, no big signs of anything a lot drier, a lot of precipitation around, so it's going to remain fairly cool and unsettled. The biggest way to look at those temperature deviations is look at the dew points, how they're up and down. 5 to 10 degrees at the moment, down to -5, up towards 10, and then perhaps back towards freezing towards the end of the month. So very up and down dew points, just showing you that the potential there for very different feel-like conditions out there. Whenever it's below freezing, it's going to feel cold, and the showers will have potentially a wintry flavour to them. Anything a lot milder towards 5 or 10 degrees is going to feel a little bit more muggy and a little cloudier, and with heavy rain out there. Most likely when we are under lower pressure. Again, look at the 2 metre temperatures. You can see it's all over the place over the course of the next couple of weeks. Down towards 5 or 6 degrees for Tuesday and Wednesday, returning to around 10 to 12 later this week, and then probably back down towards 6 to 8 come around the 20th to the 25th, as we see those colder air masses do move back in. Now, after you finish by looking at the ECMWF ensembles, very bullish on the cold spell coming up in the next couple of days. Then it goes milder, but not quite as strong on any colder spell around the 20th to the 25th, just generally around average. So nothing hugely contrasting, not massively mild or anything, but just not quite going as cold. The operational run does dip colder. There are more colder runs appearing, but not really enough to shift the ensemble average down too much. The ECMWF more on board with something a little bit more average, but definitely remaining unsettled. So average and unsettled, not hugely different to the GFS, just not quite having that cooler snap perhaps in around a week's time. So for the next few weeks, as I said, if you're looking for anything milder, a bit warmer, a bit drier, not looking particularly likely. There will be milder spells, perhaps 15, 16 degrees at times, but it will always be associated with gusty conditions, showers and cloud. It does look likely that we'll continue to have the possibility of cold snaps, one this week, perhaps one next week, and generally a cool feel at times whenever we see colder air masses do drift in. No signs, as we have had over the last few years, of big high pressure systems dominating, giving us stunning sunshine and generally a warming trend. Not seeing that at the moment, definitely an extended winter, but we did kind of expect this with that sudden stratospheric warming over a month ago now. So it is what we kind of did expect. So we can't be too disappointed with this. This sort of pattern we do get after an SSW, but we will just have to see. It will get warmer, it will get drier eventually. Of course, there are some areas that still do need the rain. We still are generally below average rainfall in the past 365 days in some areas, especially down in the southwest, so definitely do need to see some more rain in places. But I know, of course, in general, people do want to see something a bit more dry and warmer, at least for a time. So of course we'll have to see what happens with that, but of course I'll keep you updated if we do continue to see any changes in these trends. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.